So what we want to do is we want to look at our calendar and we want to schedule self-care and relationships in first. Anything that has to do with self-care, relationships, if you're doing date night, if you're going to a class or gym, monthly massage, all of the self-care stuff actually should go into your calendar first. Most of us put that stuff in last and then we run out of time, or we act as though it's a treat for like a dog. And we're like, well, if I do these things, then I'm going to allow myself to go do this other thing as a reward. We don't want to do that. Today, I'm going to be diving into exactly how I structure my day. Understand it's also taken me years to get to this point. What I'm going to give you today are tools and tips. So take what you want, leave the rest, but also understand that there are going to be things in your life and in your schedule that are out of your control to an extent. There's going to be circumstances and things that come up that are going to mess with your schedule. So in my opinion, there's no perfect schedule, but there is a perfect way that you can approach your schedule, and that's going to be with whatever works for you. So that's what we're talking about today. So quick little recap without going into it. The left side of our brain is going to be our logical side, planning, logic, A to B, focused tasks, structured approaches, administrative, data, numbers, all of that's going to be on your left side. So think really working on the business, not in the business. And then the right side of the brain is going to be the creative flow of literally creating things, creating content, filming videos, doing podcast interviews, doing coaching calls. That's very nurturing, that back and forth. All of that's going to be on the right side of the brain. That's going to be more feminine. So in a perfect world, we'd be able to just separate the two and never have them mishmash. And that would be great for your energy to increase your own productivity and to decrease the overwhelm and sort of burnout that you might be feeling. But again, I understand that that's not realistic, right? There are just certain things that are on our calendar. If you're listening right now, you might even have a 9-to-5 job where you're doing your business as a side hustle. Maybe you are a parent. So the idea here is to just like take pieces and do the best that you can. So what we want to do is we want to look at our calendar and we want to schedule self-care and relationships in first. Anything that has to do with self-care, relationships, if you're doing date night, if you're going to a class or gym, monthly massage, all of the self-care stuff actually should go into your calendar first. Most of us put that stuff in last and then we run out of time, or we act as though it's a treat for like a dog. And we're like, well, if I do these things, then I'm going to allow myself to go do this other thing as a reward. We don't want to do that. Got to put your oxygen mask on before you help other people. And when you're in a service-based industry, when you're an entrepreneur, like most of the people listening to this, we're constantly giving. We're always coaching other people. We're creating for other people. We're being thought leaders. We're helping. We're serving. We're giving value. And we give a lot. So we need to make sure, anyone needs to make sure that they're pouring back into their cup first and foremost. Number 2, productivity. This is also called bookends. This is essentially your morning and nighttime routine. People have talked for so many years about morning routines, the millionaire morning and what millionaires do. And that is just simply not true. You really just need to figure out what works for you. And what I have learned as I've gotten older is that sometimes there are seasons where I'm really loving journaling, and then some seasons I'm just not really into it and it starts to feel like a to-do list item. So I have to be okay with that and give myself a little bit of grace that maybe right now I don't want to be journaling, but maybe instead I'm going to get really into meditation, breath work. Maybe it's just 5 minutes of quiet, right? Especially for those busy parents out there. So bookending your day, you also want to put this into your calendar. The third thing is going to be your deep work. Your deep work is going to be very focused work. You can consider this batch working so that you can stay in that particular type of energy, in that particular side of your brain, in that one task sort of area for a small amount of time. Now, I always will mark deep work at 90 minutes. Now, if I'm done with the 90 minutes and I'm not done with a podcast, of course, I'm still going to continue talking and finish, but I'm also going to stop when I'm done with this episode and I'm going to allow myself a break. And inside of that smaller container of 90 minutes, you can do something called the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is the concept that you're going to do hard focused work for 20 or 25 minutes, and then you're going to take a 5-minute break regardless if you want to or not. If you are doing something like writing an email, working on a sales page, you can do the Pomodoro technique. And what is supposed to happen is that when that timer goes off on that 5-minute break, you are supposed to stop. And then you want to come back to that work again for 20 to 25 minutes. The Pomodoro technique is taught in 4 cycles. So you're essentially doing 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 4 times through, bringing you to just over an hour. That's a great technique you can use. The fourth thing is going to be your scheduled work. Your scheduled work is usually the thing that people put in their calendar first. So your scheduled work is then going to be things like meetings, coaching calls, podcast interviews, speaking on stages, things that you are getting either scheduled for or you are scheduling for yourself. The mistake that most of us make is we put those things in our calendar first. And again, if we were to now look backwards, all of a sudden as we fill in the scheduled work and then we do the deep work, the things that we have to do that actually move the needle, that are causing us the most overwhelm and stress, and then we consider if we have time doing a workout or a meditation, and then we put in all of the fun things that we consider a treat or reward, well, that's how we get to a place where all of a sudden we're just always working, we're never doing anything for fun, and we're feeling burnt out and exhausted and unproductive and not creative. So we want to do it the other way, like I said. So first, relationships and self-care. Second, AM and PM productivity for your bookends. Third is your deepest work, the to-dos that are going to get the needle moving. Fourth is going to be your scheduled work, which is the stuff that feels like it just is always there. And then fifth is going to be what I call a loop list. So if you're anything like me, you have a lot of things that you need to do. Most of the time, there's stuff for your life. Return things from Amazon, call the plumber, send a birthday card to a friend. So what I do is, for me, it's usually on Friday. I love to give myself an hour where I schedule out in my calendar a block of time, hour to an hour and a half, called loop list. I go into the notes section of my phone where I have a running list of things that they keep getting added to that loop list, and they're getting added in chronological order of when they appear. Now, of course, if it's something like a birthday, even though that might have gotten added last, it might take precedence because it's more important because the person's birthday is going to pass. I understand that. But 99% of the time, what you want to do during your loop list hour or block is you want to start at the top of the list and you're just going to chip away. This is really the scheduling that I'm following. So this is helping me not jump from right brain to left brain. Monday is all administrative work and all of my meetings. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my coaching days. Podcasts, guest coaching opportunities. Wednesdays and Fridays are completely clear from my calendar. No meetings, no calls, no guest episodes, nothing. The only thing that I do on Wednesdays and Fridays is going to be the creative work so I can work on the business rather than in the business, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in the business. I'm with clients. I'm in the Facebook group. I'm answering questions. Wednesdays and Fridays are off completely so that I can batch record podcast episodes. I can write emails. I can create Canva content. I can film reels. So this is just something that has taken a really long time for the team and I to sort of get to. And if you'll notice, the majority of my tasks are going to be more of the feminine right brain stuff, because as a visionary, that's ultimately my role. My job is to be the visionary, is to decide sort of where we're going. The integrator, the operations, and the team, they're going to help drive the boat to get us there. Now, of course, I'm part of it. I know every detail. I know all the strategy. I'm coming up with strategy as well. I get backed into dates. I back us into dates. I'm on all the debrief meetings. I'm on all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the majority of my job as the visionary is to hold the vision and tell us where we're going. It's to come up with all these new ideas, create the content. I'm still very much the face of the brand. I'm the coach. I'm in it. I'm coaching. I'm the content creator. I'm doing all these things. It's a small percentage of my day now, or of my week now. It's taken years to get here, where I'm doing so much of the administrative, the tech, the behind the scenes, the legal, the financial. Most of that stuff at this point is outsourced to an extent. So I hope you have loved these 3 different episodes. Again, the first 2, if you haven't listened, definitely go back. The first one is super spicy. We've got that free download for you here in the show notes, as well as The One Thing, Jay Papasan, or Papasan and Keller's book that I was telling you about before. It's a great book. Go ahead and grab that. Take a listen, take a read. But today's episode really is just about how you can kind of get into the quote unquote flow with structure and freedom, right? The structure creates the freedom. So I hope this was helpful. As always, take a screenshot if it was. Share on social media what you loved, what you're going to be trying. Show me when you're doing your batch working. Show me when you split your calendar up. Tag me at I am Jessica DeRose. And as always, friends, cheers to your evolution.